Hey everybody, Gabriel here with Snaps, and in this video I want to walk you through setting up a custom domain, purchasing a domain and DNS records and the like. DNS records are one of those things I know can be incredibly frustrating. It's quite simple. There's a couple of steps that you got to follow, but if you don't do them exactly, it can cause your site to get hung up. And there's nothing worse than publishing a site and waiting 1 or 2 or 3 days and wondering why it's not live yet, because it should happen pretty quickly, especially if you're using Snaps Website Builder and Snaps Domain. So let's dive in. So first I'm going to start off with buying my domain. So I'm here on Snaps Domain, and I'm simply going to do a search for the domain that I'm looking for. So I'm going to look for snapswebsitebuilder.com and see if it's available. I'm going to run my search, and if it's not, it's going to give me some different options that I can choose from. But it looks like, sweet, we are in luck. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my cart and make the selections of how often I would like to, or how long I want to have this site for, or the renewal schedule per se. So I'm not going to go with the full domain and privacy protection. The default protection I'm pretty happy with. In fact, we partnered with GoDaddy on this. GoDaddy is the kind of underlying registrar and engine underneath Snaps Domains, and so you're getting some really great stuff with Snaps Domains. I had an old site in there in my cart from before. I'm going to keep it at this 2-year mark because the renewal is $14.95, so I want to keep the discount for those 2 years. So I'm going to go ahead and register it for 2 years. So it's simply hitting checkout here, and I'm going to complete my billing information. Now, if you have an account already, here's where it's going to prompt you to sign in. So I'm going to do that real quick. All right, so I've entered my email and password, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in. If you have not yet created an account, you can create an account right here with Snaps, Snaps Domains. Currently, as of the recording of this particular video, the Snaps Domains login is separate from the website builder. I already have my payment method saved, so I'm just going to hit save and continue. All right, so now it's going to take me to the purchase screen, so I'm going to go ahead and complete my purchase on my new domain, snapswebsitebuilder.com. And I get this kind of confirmation, and I should get an email with my receipt. If you have any questions at all, or have any sort of issues with Snaps Domains, you can call this customer support number, and the team can help you out there over the phone. So now let's go back to my account, and this is where we're going to want to set up my DNS records. Now, I'm building this site for snapswebsitebuilder.com on Snaps, and so I'm going to want to come down here to where the all my domains are from my homepage and click on DNS, and that's going to take me to this DNS management page. This is where I am going to need to make a couple of small tweaks, and once I do that and I publish my site over on Snaps, and you follow the kind of support article which we've got over here, this publishing a custom domain in Snaps, all the instructions for you are right here. We're going to use kind of some of this information and copy and paste it over into Snaps Domains. Then my site will be live. Usually it happens pretty quickly if you're using Snaps and Snaps Domains. It can take up to 24 hours. I really have never seen it take that long, especially when you're using Snaps Domains. But here's what I want to do first. I want to take this URL, this new domain that I purchased, and I'm going to head over to whatsmydns.net. Now, I'm a big fan of whatsmydns.net. This is a really great kind of DNS checker to make sure that if you think that you've done everything correctly, you can actually double check your work and make sure that you've done it before you're reaching out to support, because a lot of times there's these really small issues that you can kind of troubleshoot. So I'm going to drop in my domain here, and the first thing I want to look for are the A records. So I'm going to hit search, and it's going to do a search on this and tell me what are the A records that are showing up. So it's showing this 34989930, which if we go over to our domain manager in Snaps Domains, that is what is basically it's this parked value that we've got with Snaps Domains. Now, if you think that you'd set up the correct record, so if you're looking here on the A records that you need to set up, you should be seeing this 35 IP and this 100 IP in this spot right here, if you've done the work correctly, and you're going to see what that's going to look like in just a moment. Now, the other domain, or the other kind of string that we want to search here, is to add www and then search CNAME. because you would want to have those 2 IP addresses, and then you also want to have it show that multi-screen site.net. Right now, it's just pointing back to itself, and so we know that's not set up correctly because I haven't set anything up yet. So first thing we want to do, we want to head over here to the support article on publishing a custom domain, and I'm going to grab this multiscreensite.com URL. The host is www, and I'm going to head over here to Snaps Domains. Now, I could go ahead and try to add it, and if I try to add it, I'm going to get an error, and I'll show you why. So if I add my CNAME and I go, hey, I want to add it, the host, and I want it to point to, let's do this. I want it to point to the multiscreensite.com, and I hit save. I'm going to get an error. Hey, there's an error. Why isn't it letting me do this? Well, it's not letting me do this because we already have a www CNAME record set up. So what we want to do is actually just edit this one and change where it points to. That's all we have to do here. Quite simple. So now that's done. Let's head back to our support article, grab the first A record, and I'm going to, same thing here. This A record is already set and add an @ there to that parked domain. If you add those 2 A records and don't eliminate this one, this first A record is going to interfere with your publishing. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to edit this one, and I'm going to change that. So this is the first A record, and then we want to go grab the second A record. And for the second A record, we will create a new record because there's not one to replace. So I'm just going to go A. I'm going to make the host an @ I'm going to tell it where we want it to point it to. And there we go. I'm done. All right, so there you have it. So now we've got our DNS records set up exactly as we need to. So let's go ahead now and head back over to the DNS checker. I literally just set this up. Now sometimes this will take time again, so we'll see if any of them start to populate. But if I change this over to A and snapswebsitebuilder.com and hit search, we should see, okay, yep, some of these. So in Alabama, we're starting to get recognized here. In Johannesburg, South Africa, the rest might take a little time to propagate, but this shows me that it's working. And if I check back in a couple hours, they should all show. So if we go to CNAME and we'll do the same thing, we'll just do a quick check over here. And it looks like same thing. In Alabama, we're looking good. South Africa, we're looking good. Now in India, we're looking good. So those domains are going to propagate. So now I know I've done everything correctly. And as long as I set my URL inside of the Snaps editor, my site should be good to publish. So hopefully that helps. I know, like I said, DNS can be super confusing sometimes, but it's really not. Once you get the hang of it, I mean, you can set up a site like you saw me do just here inside of a couple of minutes. So hopefully that helps. If you've done everything exactly as we've shown and you're still running into issues, please reach out to our support chat at snaps.ai/chat. Thank you so much.